It is time to sell your home. You feeling
exciting.
motivated?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to replace the old windows first.
Okay.
You should always price your home high so
That-
then you can work your way down.
Yeah.
Oh, and be sure to check out how much your house is worth on Zillow. That'll tell you exactly what to do.
Brake sound screech. Pump the brakes, sister.
Okay.
All right, don't do any of those things. Not until you have talked to our experts. Here to bust some home selling myths in today's real estate report from DeRoche Realty Group and Coldwell Banker Burnett. We welcome back Julie and Daniel DeRoche.
Hi, guys.
Whoa.
Look at this.
I love myth busting.
I know, this is
anything,
so much fun.
Any sort of myth, and I like doing it real estate style. Let's start from the top. Myth number one: when selling, price it high so that you have room for negotiation. Daniel, if you ask me, this is a slam dunk, so that then you end at the price that you really want.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Oh, that's
not at all.
disappointing.
What do you do?
You really have to be as accurate as possible. You really do. A lot of buyers don't even search in the price range that a lot of sellers want to start. Buyers search range price parameters aren't as big as one might think. I think a lot of people think it's, a couple $100,000, $50,000, whatever.
Yeah.
You got to keep it really close to what it really is worth in order to get the buyers to even look at it online.
Should you ditch the negotiating mindset in general and instead really choose a price that you like, that you're comfortable with, and then stick to that?
Absolutely. Yep. You got to be as accurate as possible. If you overprice it, buyers aren't going to see it. If you underprice it, obviously you're going to be in a different world of hurt. You want to be the number you really want. You want to list it at the number you really want and just try to get people to see it at that price.
Okay, so here's an example of a house that you say that the sellers wanted to price it at $309,000. It looks so cute. And you said what?
I told them 300 even. A lot of buyers will cap their search. The neighborhood averages, you got to look at the neighborhood averages too. And if there's not a lot of homes selling in the threes and you price it in the threes, you're missing a big chunk of the market.
And then what happened to that house?
Well, we priced it right at 300 even and ended up in multiple offers and got a lot more than 300. And I think had we started over 3, we would have missed all those buyers searching up to 3, and I don't think we would have got as much money.
And the thing you want to avoid is lots of days on market.
Yeah.
So if you price too high and sit on the market, that's one of the worst things you can do.
Like, what's the max, Julie? I mean, how many days do we want it to be on the market?
If it's on for more than a month in this market, it's overpriced.
People start to look
really?
and go,
Oh, yeah.
something's going on.
Yep.
Very
And the longer it
interesting.
sits, the more buyers think they can negotiate and come up with lowball offers.
That's what I would do
yeah.
when we were looking at a house.
I
I
know.
thought, look at these suckers. They've been stuck with this for 6 months.
What's wrong with it? That's what everything.
What's wrong with it?
Yep.
Okay, next up, online home valuations are accurate. People live and die by the Zestimate when they're going on Zillow and they're looking. Julie, you say that's a myth.
It is, and I cringe sometimes when I sit down with sellers and the first thing they tell me is, my Zestimate says my house is worth this. It's usually wrong.
How does
Really?
how does this estimate work? Like, what is Zillow kind of basing all of this off of?
They say it's a proprietary formula,
Yeah.
so we don't know.
Oh, how intriguing.
They take a lot of heat for this. I mean, they really do. They've had to defend themselves with this Zestimate a lot because usually people are either super happy with it or super unhappy with it. What happens when you're selling? Are they really selling for what the Zestimate is?
They're not.
Yeah.
The problem with Zestimate is Zillow is not in your house. They're not walking in your house. They're not seeing that your bathrooms and your kitchens has been updated, or maybe they haven't. Maybe they're the original kitchen from '71 when we built the house.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a power line in your backyard. They're just taking probably, I'm assuming, an average of the taxes in your area.
And like bathroom
bedrooms,
counts,
bathrooms, square footage.
and then that's it.
I think they just add it all up, do the math, and figure out a cost per square foot, and then tell people that. So if your home is really on the low side versus really on the high side, it can really be off by a lot.
In Hennepin County, the median error rate is 9.6%.
That
so that
doesn't
could be
sound like a lot when you say it, but when you get into like $400,000 and $500,000, that's some
40 or 50 grand
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
a
big
big
chunk.
number.
And if you overprice your house by that much, good luck. You're
You're
in
in
the market
trouble.
for a long time.
Brief Zillow story. Just recently, we went on to Zillow just for kicks. Sometimes you're like, hey, has our house gone up in value? They were off, because we then looked into it a little bit further, off by $150,000 on our house, which is half the value of our home.
I would say you live in a $2 million house.
Look at that.
No. Anyways, Zillow, always good if you've been drinking too much. Here's another home buying myth. We've mentioned this before, bears repeating, Daniel. Sellers pay closing costs. A few years ago, I felt like this was, you didn't even have to negotiate for this. This was expected. It's a myth now?
Well, it's always been a myth. A lot of realtors don't explain it right. Friends at work don't explain it right. For starters, the sellers aren't paying your closing costs. You're upping your offer by that amount, which means you're upping your mortgage by that amount.
Okay.
And then at the closing table, on paper, the sellers are giving you that money back. So it is saving the buyers from bringing that dollar amount to closing, in essence, giving the buyer more cash at closing to do some work or something. But I would say maybe half the time you see it, and if it's in any version of a multiple offer negotiations, it makes the offer not look as good to the seller because the bottom line will still be the same. So if you use the $300,000 example, $300,000 with no closing costs, $300,000 with closing costs is $309,000.
Yeah.
But the net is still $300,000, but now it has to appraise for $309,000.
Oh, yeah.
So, and the appraisals are still very specific. So a lot of times that deal will fall apart a month down the road. So the seller doesn't even want to look at that offer because they know they're going to be dealing with that in the future.
So if you really want the house, you don't even think about asking for closing costs. You just pay what you want to pay,
Yep,
and then
keep
you
it
go
clean.
forward.
Keep it
Okay. And
clean.
if you're selling your house, you don't want to try to even look at an offer if they're saying, we want you to pay closing costs.
Well, if there's nothing else on the table,
Yeah.
maybe, you know what I mean? But you
And
got to
the
be
bottom
careful.
line has to work for you if you're selling.
Yes. Okay, next myth.
This is my favorite
I
myth.
can't believe
because
this.
this is the one that I heard and thought, well, that changes how I've thought about home searching.
Here it is. You should always feature the front of your house as the first picture that people see online. Everyone just thinks that's automatically where we start. Julie, you say this is a myth. What?
Not necessarily.
What
yeah.
do we do?
Well, if you don't have that great of an exterior of a house and you want people to, you want to catch their eye, you're looking at 50 properties online.
Right.
And they're looking at 50 exteriors. Well, if they stop on your house and you have a great kitchen, they're going to click on it. So a lot of homes sometimes don't have that great exterior,
So
but they
pick
have a
your best
wonderful
feature.
inside.
Yeah.
You know, I think why we do this is because, like, when I enter your house, the first thing I see is the outside of your house.
Yeah.
So it just seems like, okay, this makes sense
And
as
you
to how
think this
one
is
would
so
see
small.
it.
How does she live
Yeah,
here?
and I turn around and boom, I'm down the street. No, now we have a few examples that we want to show here. Let's take a look at the first one. There's the outside of the house.
Yeah.
This is how they would feature their house.
And you
it's
think
fine.
cute house,
Yeah.
you think it maybe looks like a $250,000 house,
Yep.
right?
Here's the picture maybe they should be showing instead. Oh, mercy.
Kapow,
Whoa, with your
Julie.
redone
So
kitchen.
the kitchen looks so much nicer. This house actually sold for $385,000.
Really?
From the outside, you'd never know there's that kind of a value or look inside at all.
And if you're just going on like a home site, you just look at the outside of the house and maybe it's not for you and you say, all right,
They
let's
flip right
keep
by
on-
it.
Yeah.
So
keep
you
on
think
moving.
even so have that exterior in the collection of
Yes.
pictures,
Yeah.
but just don't make it the first one.
Absolutely. You still want to make sure buyers know what your house looks like
Yeah.
because, you know, you got to be honest and stuff, but
Yeah.
that you got to go after the best picture, the one that's going to get the people excited to come see the house.
Okay, that is
We
really
have more
cool.
fun eye candy. You want to see a couple
Oh,
more?
yeah,
I love
do.
this. So there's the outside of the house.
Yeah, interesting kind of look.
Style.
You know,
Yep,
style.
yep, fine.
Now let's take them to the money picture. Let's go
Hello.
inside.
Oh, see.
So this was a beautiful house that had a lot of the original woodwork and detail that we wanted to feature.
And
Yeah.
that's what's going to draw buyers in. You guys, this is so fun. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. That was fun.
Myth
Our pleasure.
busting. We have a link to the DeRoche Realty Group with Coldwell Banker Burnett on our website. And if you want to maximize your chances of getting the home you want or selling yours for top dollar, they would be more than happy to have a one-on-one meeting with you, no cost.
And if you're a first-time home buyer, Daniel will get really, really
Oh, he
gushy and
loves
weepy
it.
about it, and
I
he just wants to
know.
be on the journey with you.
He'll
and
cry
it's
at
the whole-
closing.
He'll cry. He cries at every closing. Thanks
I'm
for
on the
being
spot.
here, guys. Hey, visit TwinCitiesLive.com for more. Big thanks to DeRoche Realty Group for sponsoring our show.
All right.